What's up, guys? Welcome to System 6 Magic. I'm Devonte, and today I'm honored with one of the greatest minds in magic that we have in our era, and he's a consultant for David Blaine. He's a creator of magic. You may know him from The Switcher, the Time is Money. You might guess who I'm talking about, the great Asi Wind.
Thank you. That was nice. What's up? Good.
I'm excited, and today we're just going to sort of hang out, get into some dialogues, and just talk.
Let's do it.
Just talk. Before off camera, I was asking you about what you feel this whole new internet world and how it's affecting or not affecting, or is it damaging or not damaging the magic world. So we know that these new websites are coming up. You know, they're flashy. Some of them are teaching just sort of what we now call move monkeys. And some of them are just tricks. Some of them teach a little bit of performances. What do you think about the mix? The YouTubes, these cool websites teaching one trick.
It's a big question.
It's a big question.
I hope I can give you a long of an answer as long as the question was. Of course, it's affecting the magic. I mean, everything affects something. It's not about good or bad. It's about what does it do. I think the biggest positive thing that happens is that a lot of kids find interest in magic, and they're also finding it cool, which is something that wasn't cool, I think, 20, 30 years ago. So that's awesome. I guess the complaint that some magicians might have against is kind of one-trick DVDs, and I'm also part of it. I also put few tricks on DVDs. Is that maybe it's not as comprehensive as a magic book could be, expert card technique, that covers, hundreds upon hundreds of tricks and ideas and methods. Here's just one trick, rewrapped, and it's quick, and maybe it's not well thought out, maybe it's not a full routine, maybe somebody didn't rehearse the routine enough to own it, and to say, oh, here's a polished routine that you can guys use. Some of them are half-baked, like they're not fully polished. So, as I said, some of the routines might not be polished and not be well put together, so they're like half-baked. And I think I don't know if it's a problem. I mean, if somebody wants to buy it, he can buy it. It's a free market. But maybe it's good to acknowledge the fact that some things are well thought of and some are not.
Do you think there's any benefit in having tricks that haven't been well thought out? Maybe somebody, in South America came up with this really cool gimmick. They don't know how to. They're not performers. They're creators,
Sure.
And they put it out, and somebody like you may see and you go, wow, that fits exactly what I need part of this act, this performance that I've been working on. That gimmick.
I agree 100%.
Works perfectly.
100%. Absolutely. There's a place for everything. Absolutely. And yeah, you're right. Some of them are not performers. Some of them just have a cool idea. And that cool idea might be worth $30, $100, whoever. And if you're using it, it might be worth thousands of dollars. It's just a matter of, who buys it and what's the purpose of it. I think the only thing I would say is that a lot of young magicians start with these kind of videos, and I don't think it's a great foundation. Well, there's exposure just for the sake of exposure, where people post explanation on YouTube, and this is the new era. We're gonna have to deal with it. That's the future, where everybody gets a stage. He can say whatever he wants. He can publish whatever he wants, and yes, it might hurt magic to some degree, because people can Google how is this done. We need to get smarter. We need to get more sophisticated about how to hide our secrets and how to prevent those people from posting the secrets. That's one question. As for DVDs, a one-trick DVD or all that, I think there's a place for it. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's half-baked. Sometimes just an idea. And it's up to the customer to make a smart decision whether to buy it or not. Sometimes it's confusing, especially when you're a beginner. You don't know what you're buying because you don't know much. So my advice would be to any person who's starting out to establish a good foundation. Know enough about magic before you spend a lot of money. But I find it even true to any art, like painting. People like to buy stuff. They buy new brushes and new paints and they want to experiment and everything. And maybe it's a good phrase. I don't know.
Why do you think people do that?
First, they like to own stuff. Also, they feel that with every DVD that they buy, they become better magicians. Oh, if I only knew that trick, I would be just as cool as this guy on the DVD, who's well edited, and maybe it took him 60 takes to get that one beautiful shot. But again, it's human nature. We like to purchase things. We're shopaholics. We like stuff. My advice would be more selective with reviews. Ask around, get on the forums, see what people say. Sometimes it doesn't reflect anything, but maybe it will give you a better idea of what to buy, what to avoid. I don't think it matters. I think it's a different kind of magic. Magic has many extensions. There's fakir magic, there's mentalism, there's grand illusions, there's close-up magicians, and there's the flourishy side to it, which is more skill driven. It's more about displaying the skill. You're not trying to hide it. You know, most magicians do magic. They're trying to hide the double lift or the things they're doing or the pass. These are invisible moves. There's the other kind when you display a one-handed riffle shuffle. And that's what you're going for, which is fine. I mean, people enjoy it. Some people tie it with juggling, and I don't think it's an insult. Maybe it's a sort of, you juggle cards so beautifully, and it's beautiful. I mean, people pay money to see jugglers and hire them. So why not? It could be done with cards.
Right. What do you think, Asi, what do you think makes your magic different?
I don't know if different, but what I focus on, what's important to me about my magic is to connect with the people. And to give you a few examples, I hear many times magicians ask a question, oh, what's your astrological sign? And they couldn't care less about the answer. Or which color do you prefer, red or blue? Why did you choose blue? And they don't care. Nobody's going to give them a good answer to that question anyway, but they don't care about their answer. And to me, that's really important. The give and take is equally interesting. I think sometimes, you can have a spectator who's going to say something funny on... This is hilarious. You're going to have somebody on stage. I think he's more interesting than my answer. So let's give him a second. And of course... sorry, I just live with two tiny dogs. So anyway, I think it's important that you connect with them and you care about what they have to bring to the stage and embrace it. So that's important.
You have to be present.
You have to be present, absolutely. Like I always said, I really revised a line that magicians have said for many years, creating the illusion of the first time. And I slightly tweaked it to creating the illusion of the first and only time. I want to do a show that doesn't sound like I've rehearsed it a million times and now I'm doing just another variation of it. I want to feel raw, I want to feel jazzy, I want to feel in the moment. So, like for example, I don't memorize my script word for word. I know what I want to say, and I say it. I have an idea. Maybe some lines are more precise than others, but for the most part, I just live. I just do what feels right. I would never ignore comment in the audience. I mean, if I hear it and I can somehow embrace it, incorporate it into the show, I love those moments. Those are the moments that I really, really care for. Like, for example, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I had somebody who got really drunk at the castle, which is not a rarity. And a lot of magicians will get panicked or ignore the guy or try to shout him. I immediately made him a part of the act. I interacted with him even more so, and he made it so much funnier. And at some point, he was too much, and I needed to get rid of him. I said, "Oh, I'm going to show you an amazing trick. Come here." And he comes, and he's like so lost. And I say, "Here, you're going to pick a card. Actually, don't pick it here because you will think I'm forcing you. So why don't you take the deck, take it all the way to the basement of the castle. Choose the card there, and then come back." And as soon as he leaves, I kind of like the door behind him. It was hilarious. I got rid of him. But I find those moments really crucial. I find that whatever you can grab that night from them, or whatever happens in the room or within you, maybe you feel that something, you want to say something that you've never said. It just feels right. Go with your urges. Go with what feels right. So that, I guess, it's to me really, really important.
So the first one is be present. What's another one of those gems that you feel have really turned around?
It's be present, and don't afraid to steer away from your plan. If this is your tracks, Jamie in Swiss says it beautifully. He says you have a track, you know where you're going, you have a script. Every now and then, feel free to go and pick something up and carry it on, because that's what makes a unique live performance. That's the difference between a movie and a scripted play. then our show is alive, it's changeable, it's different every night, and we should take full advantage of it.
So Asi, we know you for this magician has created all these really, really amazing effects. What do you think you've implemented in these effects that make them so amazing?
Time. Lots of time. I probably published few things, not too many. And the reason being is because I don't feel like I want to publish anything that's not fully awesome, like well thought out, and everything is worked out, because I need to love it before I even put it out. So when I say time, I really mean it. I really consider everything, every aspect. What if they go this way or that way? I'm trying to build many layers of deception. And I talk about this in my lecture. I think it's important that the trick will not have one plausible solution, and you need to have things that will kind of like cancel that. I mean, Juan talks about it a lot in his books, about how to create an arrangement of methods that each method will cancel the other. I think magic needs to be absolutely devious. I think there should be no explanation but the fact that it's magic. And some magicians, I feel like they stop thinking too early. I mean, I worked on Time is Money, for example, for 2 years before I even published it. And after I published it, I still worked on it, and it's way different than it was, a few years ago. So I think the advice will be, don't stop. Always doubt your show, always doubt your tricks, and try to see what's the weakness, what is not right with it. Because there's nothing that cannot be improved. It could always be improved, and you should always think maybe I can do this way. Maybe if I change that, maybe this is not so good. Also, learn to accept criticism. I mean, if somebody comes to your show and you ask, can you critique it? Don't ask it because you're trying to milk some compliments. Really care about what he thinks and why does he think that way. So I guess,
get into a dialogue with him.
A dialogue, yeah. I mean, you should, obviously everybody will have their own opinion, and there's a big difference between opinion and somebody critiquing something that is a flaw, and you need to identify it. You need to know, he caught something that I missed because I'm too involved with the trick. I'm biased. I'm not objective enough to know that, I'm doing something wrong. So I think that's important, to just keep an open mind. Be like an ounce, a percent of dissatisfaction, like this much. Always be satisfied with yourself, with your magic, but always keep that room for, this could be better. I don't know how, but it could be better.
So Asi, when you were saying about the making sure that the trick is really devious, how do you think that relates to the too perfect theory, that there is no way out?
Well, as my dear friend Johnny Thompson have put it, he says it's not the too perfect theory, it's the how else theory, I guess. What he meant by that is that there is no such thing as the too perfect theory. A trick can never be too perfect, in my opinion, cannot be too perfect. But it could be obvious. It's perfect, yes, on the outside, but it's actually obvious. I know how he did it. He had to have done this and that in order for that to work. We've seen it on TV many times. Like, I don't know, taking a girl and changing her from 12 to 30. Now, we have to consider that the audience at home is somewhat smart, and they will never believe that you turn a 12-year-old into a 20-year-old.
Right.
And that's when it's the how else. They know, he switched her. So that's where I guess the too perfect theory comes in. They don't know
how she did. They don't know how he did it. But
they don't care how. They just know that it's a possibility. They're not. A good trick is that they want to accept that that's a possibility. They want to believe for a fraction, for a moment, that what you just did is actually possible. Just for a moment, even if they walk out and say, it's all tricks.
The
suspense of disbelief, they want to do it. They want, like you're watching a good movie. You want to believe the guy is this and that. But sometimes it looks so ridiculous that you're not buying it. You're not buying the fact that he's that or this. And I think that's what happens when the crowd is watching a show where the trick is just insulting their intelligence. They know it's impossible. They know that there's only one way of doing it, which is either switching the girl to this girl, or... So I guess I think a good trick should be beautifully structured and as devious as possible, and it's got nothing to do with, being too perfect. There is no too perfect. We always should try to be as perfect as we can, But we have to keep in mind that sometimes, if it's too perfect, or the how else theory, people will just be let down to exactly the method. They will know how it worked.
Now you're saying names like Jamie and Swiss, and some you're quoting him. You quoted Johnny Thompson. Who are some of your inspirations? And I want to say magicians, but I'm now looking for the other stuff. I mean, what's behind the Asi curtain? What minds and both maybe in magic and out of magic.
I owe an amazing, huge thank you to Juan Tamariz, which I saw when I was 15. He blew my mind. He was the kind of magician I want to be. The way he touches people, the emotional impact. Like, here's something that I get from Juan every time. Every time he performs a trick, and I've seen him a million times, there's a part in me that believes that maybe this time it's not going to work. He really sells me that idea. I think I'm like on that roller coaster, and I think, oh, it's going to fail, and then it works. And he creates that beautiful emotional curve that I don't know how he's able to sell that again, and he's going to get it because he's amazing. So he's a huge influence on me. A non-related influence will come from art. I've studied art. I've studied graphic design. I've studied painting. And I like to read biographies of those painters and to see how they found their voice, what they did in order to become the artist they became. And I think that I've learned a lot from those books, really a lot. And I can't name, there's so many. I mean, every now and then I'm just influenced by somebody else. Right now it's, Robert Henry. I'm reading The Art Spirit. And it's funny, I'm reading about painting and how to paint better, but I can also hear, like, in the back of my mind, oh, this could actually work for magic. This is actually great advice for magic.
Can you give us an example of something you recently read?
It's a tough one.
We can get back to it.
No. For example, a lot of times we try to pour meaning into magic. And it usually, we think that, that if we tell a story throughout the magic, it will be emotional because we're telling an emotional story on top of the trick. And when you look at a painter, he paints still life of a vase with flowers. I don't think there's an amazing emotion in a vase and the flowers. But it's not the vase and the flowers, it's how it's painted. The emotion is being telegraphed through the brushstrokes, the choice of colors, the mood he created with it. He's not trying to sell us anything sophisticated within the image, it's the how. So if I take it to magic, you can create emotion with something that supposedly doesn't have, like Ambitious Card, doesn't have really an emotion, but it's the way you do it, it's the timing, it's the pacing, and how you do it that creates the emotion. So that's something that painters understood. It's not really the subject matter. It's how you approach the subject matter. How do you paint that person, that gaze, that state? And I think that could be applied to simple tricks that on the surface don't seem to have any impact or emotion. But the way you perform them. So I've met David maybe, I want to say 5 or 6, about 5-6 years ago. And well, we can discuss that for an hour on its own.
Tell us a cool story.
Well, we'll start at the beginning. I was walking. You see, I have dogs. I was walking this one. I was walking this doggy, and Doug McKenzie and David were, walking, and we kind of just, walked towards each other. And Doug said, Doug knew me at the time. We're good friends, and he introduced me to David, and he said Asi does a lot of stack work. And he said, why don't you come to the office? And I said, sure, when do you want me to come? Come right now. David is very impulsive. It's very like, now. Oh, where are you? Come here, come now. I came in, I showed him some of my stuff and seemed to like it. And very fast I became a part of the team. But I discovered, beyond the fact that I'm working with him on magic and trying to think about what we can do and how we can improve things, we became really good friends. I think he's really a lot of fun to be around. I mean, We play backgammon until 6 a.m. He kicks my ass, but we play backgammon like nonstop. And I think that David and I have similar taste to some degree. We he's organic and he's on the verge of being real. Or plausible. Like it seems like maybe it could work. Maybe we like the tangent that somebody watching it has that conflict in his mind. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not, and I think that's why we clicked maybe, and that's why I'm able to help him with some of the stuff.
That are coming out. A lot on the Magic Cafe. You got a lot of guys who are all obsessed with the secret and how it's done. Where what you're saying now is a lot of the structure. Well, you're also looking on how it's done, but how it's structured. How is this trick being portrayed to the audience? So when you see a trick, a brand new that you haven't seen before, whether it's on the market or a good friend showed it to you, what are you looking at it? With what eyes are you looking at it? Are you really obsessed with method? Or I know Juan Tamari said sometimes, he's willing to go really far with a method. Sometimes he uses a simple method. Well, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think there's like... Okay, well, we'll take it from the point that about what are you obsessed with. Some magicians are obsessed with method, correct? Or the new toy or the new gimmick. I think it's a phase. When I started out, every trick that I saw, I thought was amazing. Every little trick that I saw, I thought it was unbelievable and it was great. And it's only within time that I started, my taste became very specific. I said, I don't really connect with this, I don't really like that, and starting to like something very specific. So I think that's what happens with all magicians. They start with the excitement of, appreciating the method, appreciating the prop, appreciating the flourishing thing or whatever it is. And then once they get tired of it, they say, okay, got it. I'm not excited about it anymore. Now they're looking for something greater than that.
Than that method.
Then that method is, how do we take the method and move somebody with it?
Right.
How do we make him care for... Because the most boring plot in magic is pick a card, put it back, here it is. It's an awful plot. It's so boring.
No matter what the method is.
Yeah, no, but I think the method can change the feeling of it. Remember how I spoke about the vase and the flowers? It's about how you deliver that very boring plot. You can deliver it and make it into poetry. You can make it into an unbelievable experience for laymen. And I think that's another step of, and I think you really need to go through all those phases. It's absolutely okay to be obsessed with the moves, diagonal palm shift and all that, and people are obsessed with it forever. And it's always crucial because, the techniques will give you the liberty to do things that are beyond technique, but you need the technique first.
What are your thoughts? Are you looking for something that's, the method is unique, it gets it the fastest? So for example, what we just said, so to get the card from the middle to the top, when Asi's looking for the method of that, are you looking for the hardest method, for the most discreet method, for the one that... What are your thoughts on finding that method?
Just to make it a short answer, I really recommend that people read Designing Miracles by Darren Ortiz. I think it's a great book that talks exactly about this. What method to use. Moment. Ortiz talks about, if you do an ambitious card and you put the card in the middle, then a double undercut will not be a good way to get it to the top because maybe now there's a probability that it's going to end up on top, correct? So maybe a shift will be better because it seems like you did nothing. You put in the middle, you shift, and then it goes to the top. So obviously nothing happened. So you have to choose the method according to what's going to make the effect better. Every method that you use, there's a million ways to get a card to the top. There's a million ways to force a card. But I think you need to think, what would be the right move for this moment to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish? And I think that's how I choose my moves. I don't choose them by difficulty or how sophisticated they are. It's either they help me get my points across, or they help me enhance an idea, or they don't. That's how I choose. I don't favor one move for another because of the move.
And the method and the trick is only halfway there, right? Even if you were to buy something or create the method or the trick, then you still have to work on the designing of the miracle of it, the structure of it, or the timing of it.
It takes me, I'm really slow. It takes me a long time to get a routine to the point where I'm saying, okay, I'm happy with it. This is something I can actually do and use or be proud of. Because I think there's so many little things, the subtleties, and those are the things that I care about. Sometimes just waiting a second longer between this phase to that phase that makes something amazing. Letting your magic breathe, letting your one moment resonate longer than the other. All of those things, I cannot even explain them. I need to do it repeatedly again and again and again until I feel, okay, this works. Like I look at tapes. I tape my show a lot, and I think it's a great way to actually critique yourself. Because the camera will never lie to you. You'll watch it, and sometimes you'll get bored of your own act. Like I watched my act many times. I go, fuck, it's boring. I'm gonna fast forward. This is so boring. And then I said to myself, why won't I take my act? And that's something I did many years ago. I had an hour act. I start editing the act. So this card, I don't like it. This could go before this. I edited a full act. I trimmed it from maybe an hour to 20, 30 minutes. And it was a good act. And I looked and I said, that's the act I should do. So I should take all of these things out. I should do it in this order. And this is great. And it's part of, the process that we need to go through. Always doubt it. Always say there's something that could be better. What's wrong with this? Always find what's wrong with, Another thing I've learned from art is, a teacher of mine said, the trick is not how to stay out of trouble, is how to get out of trouble. Does it make sense?
No.
It's, you can be very careful not make any mistakes, but it's inevitable. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to suck. You're going to do things wrongly. The secret is how do you get out of it? It's like judging a good performer is seeing him do something that doesn't work well. That's when he's being judged as being a great performer, because he can handle it.
A lot of people try to, one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people, the difference when I've noticed the professional and somebody that's just dying on stage, is that one, the professional, because it's real, and before you were saying about taking it all in, he'll take it in and he's acknowledging it because he's present, not because he's on the script. But you got these other guys who they're on script and they're not getting off their script because it's the only safe zone that they have. And they're burning. And the audience is feeling that. They're feeling that pain, and they're, and they're saying, oh, this guy sucks. With the other guy, the trick may go completely wrong, and we're there with him, and we want him to succeed, and he may make a joke out of it and move forward.
It's human, too. I mean, we relate to people who are more human. And, like, if I spoke to you in a very, scripted way, and every one of my answers was like, what I think, and da-da-da-da-da-da, and everything was like rhythmic, and I would never stumble about anything, and I would not lose my thought, oh, what did I say? It's not going to look human. It's going to look robotic and monotonous and not interesting. I personally, again, I don't like to script my show word for word. I script it to the point where I'm familiar with what I need to say, where I'm going, what's the motive of that line, of that movement. And I think every night I find a way to say it differently. It's just because I don't remember the line, I'm forced to come up with a new line that's close to what I said last night.
So then, at least, where do you go from being this trickster, as Jeffrey Bright calls the stages of magicians, from this trickster of, you got your tricks down, you went online, you got yourself a DVD. Where do you make the jump to the performer, to the actual artist on stage?
I think some people never make the jump because they don't have the desire. People, they get to the point where they're trickster. They're very good tricksters. I know a lot of amazing tricksters.
Would you like to tell us?
No. What's your name again? Sorry. No, but they're tricksters, and they're awesome at it, and there's nothing wrong about it, and they're very happy with that level of, whatever. It's not even level, because if you put it in hierarchy, maybe it's not so good. Maybe we should put them next to each other. They're just different. They're not this way, they're this way. He's happy being a trickster. And he polishes it and becomes a better trickster every day.
And there's an audience for that. People like
absolutely.
To see
people love that fast-paced trick after trick. The guy's doing 50 tricks in 10 minutes. Sure, it's awesome. And there's obviously a place for that, and it's desired. But some people want something else. They just, okay, I've done this. Like, for example, I used to paint really tight and very, and now I want to become looser. I want to become more, I want to let my arm do the brush strokes and really let it be more expressive. I'm having a hard time getting to that point, but I want it. I know I do. It just, at some point you get, okay, I'm done with this. I enjoyed it. I want to try something else. I want to take it somewhere else. Not better, just somewhere else. And So now you care about maybe something that's not quite, shooting 50 tricks one after the other, and all of them need to be visual.
So the first thing is something rises inside of you, this sort of care that now starts to push you towards this performing thing.
Yeah, like for example, this is a great example. If I look at my old shows when I started out, I had about 20 tricks in 1 hour. It's a lot. Today I have 5 routines. It's a huge difference. And of course there are few climaxes in each one of them, but for the most part there are 5 routines. You can really look at it as one routine after the other. And they're somewhat connected. But it's because now I'm looking to expand and to find out more about each one of them and what it could do to an audience. And again, and I'm not there yet. For example, I'm not looking for a message yet. I'm not, do you have something to say? I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say. What I have to say is, I want to share with you something that I find beautiful. And the emotion comes like, it's like a surfer. You surf on it. I think it comes through. Your passion, it's even things that I cannot verbalize. I mean, there are emotions that I cannot put to words, but they come across when I do magic. I think so. And I think it doesn't have to be a literal message. I believe in blah 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 blah, and therefore I'm going to show you ambitious card. To me it's like, really, why? If your message cannot live on its own, why do you need the trick to be applied to what is it? It's a visual aid. I mean, I don't quite get that yet. But maybe one day, we spoke about those appetites and things you want to do. Maybe one day I would want to go that way, or I don't know. Keep it open.
A performer gives an audience what they want, an artist gives them what they need.
It's a beautiful way of saying it. I've heard it in similar ways. I've heard another way of saying it is, how did you say the first one?
A performer gives the audience something
That they want,
and an artist gives them something they need. Basically, something that they have that they feel the audience needs.
I agree with that. Maybe another variation on that will be that a true artist doesn't give them what they want or need. He gives them what he has. And it's up to them to whether to take it or not. It's not necessarily something they want or need. It's like, I have to say something. It's here. I need it. I need to let it out. And so in other words, he's not going to do a trick and wait for the applause. He's doing this trick or this moment because he connects with it. He loves it. And now it's up to them to either accept it or not. And he doesn't really care about that part. He cares about only what he has to say.
I've always had a complex time understanding that. So then, do you come to a show caring what the audience think? I mean, then at the end of the show, do you care if they didn't like it, if they did like it?
Well, obviously, the more you care about what they have to say, the more commercial you're going to be. There are a few artists who happened to say exactly what they wanted to say, and it was just commercially successful. But most of the times, artists make the adjustment to appeal to the masses, and that means they dumb down some ideas. They try to appeal to more and more people. So, sophisticated art doesn't appeal to the masses. They want something simple, something snappy, something they can understand in a second. And sometimes it requires dumbing down your material. So I think a true artist is not obsessed with commercializing his art. He's just concerned about making the best art he can, and he's the only voice, the only critique that he cares about. He wants it to be his own voice, his own message, or whatever it is, without really concerning whether it's going to succeed or not. And it's a big price to pay, because that means you can starve. You can be a starving artist.
So Asi, you've been doing a lot of lectures all over the world. For some of us that haven't caught one yet, or it's going to be some time for us to catch one, what's one of the greatest tips or advice that you give away at one of these lectures?
Well, if I'm forced to give just one advice, is be proud to be a magician. Don't use magic as a vehicle to tell lousy jokes or bad stories. Just do great magic. Be proud of it and go full force. Make it a true mystery with all the intentions. And just really be proud to be a magician. We're the only kind of performers who can do it. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to System 6 Magic. It's been a pleasure being interviewed and being on this website that you're looking around. Shop carefully and buy good stuff that will make you better magicians. Thank you so much. Hopefully you'll have great reads.